Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Kate Elliott, and I'm so glad you are all here. And this is our very first session in our Summer Energy Healing series. And today we are doing an intro to energy healing and how energy work, energy healing is possible. So if you are watching and you're brand new, this is, or you're just curious about energy healing, this is a perfect place for you to be, a perfect place to start, no matter where you are on your energy healing journey. So my story is I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer 11 years ago, and I was an elementary school teacher. I didn't know anything about energy work, energy healing, or anything like that. I taught yoga, and I was an elementary school teacher, so had a little understanding through yoga, but not really much. So I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and instead of having the radiation and surgery that my oncologist wanted me to do, I heard this voice in my head when he was giving me my diagnosis that I should, like, there was another way, is what the voice said. And you don't have to do this. And I was so startled that I couldn't really ignore that. So I went home, quit my teaching job, and I started to research all the ways that, like, who actually does that? Who heals himself from cancer naturally? And that took me down this rabbit hole because there's many, many, many people that do that. So that brought me to energy healing and to the emotion code and body code. And that was my journey. I got certified within a year because I felt such a shift releasing just trapped emotions. So we're going to be focusing on that today. So I guess the most important thing to understand is, if you're brand new, is that everything is energy. So your body is energy, your thoughts are made up of energy, your emotions, even your memories and beliefs, they all carry a frequency and a vibration. And you've probably felt this before, with maybe without even realizing it. Like when you walk into a room and you could just, if two people have been arguing or they're like ignoring each other, you could just feel the tension in the room. um I'm English and we say you could like cut the atmosphere with a knife. It's like palpable, right? Just that tension, even though you don't even know what's happened, you can feel it. So that's you feeling those people's energies. And also, if you are around people that are, like, we could say high vibe, or um they're just full of joy and love, when a person like that walks into a room, your eyes and your whole body just shifts. You naturally gravitate to that because it's so uplifting, and we want that ourselves, right? So maybe you haven't even noticed that, focused on that before, but something definitely to pay attention to. So that's you tuning into energy. So your body is constantly sensing energy, even if you're not aware of it, from other people, from your environment, and from within yourself. Like, your cells are listening to you. So you want to be careful what your beliefs are, what your thoughts are, and what you're telling yourself about yourself. So, what is energy healing? Energy healing can sound a little out there if you've never heard of it before, because it's no hands-on treatment. There's no machines or devices. We don't take any supplements. We don't prescribe supplements. We don't take medications. The practitioner is just purely working in your energy field with your energy body. But because your body is made up of energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your memories, they all have an energetic signature. And sometimes that energy, that energetic signature, can get stuck in your body. It could be from heartbreak, like you never fully processed a breakup of a relationship, or someone in your family, someone that you loved, a loved one crossed over, and you've held that in your body. Or it could be something like a stressful moment that was too overwhelming, and your body like didn't have time to release it because there was too much of it. Or even emotions you inherited from your parents or your ancestors can get trapped or stuck in your body. So when that energy stays stuck, it can definitely show up as physical symptomology like anxiety, depression, overwhelm. It can show up as chronic pain. And there is really it's actually been proven that there is an emotional, sorry, component to all physical disease and illness. And definitely with chronic pain or any sort of pain, there is usually an emotional connection and some kind of emotional energy that has got stuck in the body. It can also show up as feeling blocked or, sometimes we say we're just having an off day. That could be stuck emotional energy, or you're just not feeling yourself. But sometimes people go years, right, or even decades feeling like that. And if it doesn't get released, that energy doesn't get released, this is when chronic illness or chronic disease and these conditions that we all know, and maybe you have some of them, can develop and show up in your body. So for me, energy healing is about gently finding and releasing what your body is holding on to so you can feel lighter, clearer, and more like yourself again. So if you just go back to a time when you felt more freer, we are, as energy healers, we're working on bringing you back into like balance or homeostasis, or a time that you felt freer and clearer. And we could say that, which I think is like a different concept, energy healing is really about listening. So if you're an energy practitioner yourself, it's about becoming conscious of what's going on with you in your body if you're working for yourself, or it could be about listening to what your body is still holding on to, or and then also listening to what wants to be released. So we are supporting the energy that, as energy healers, we're supporting the energy that you are ready to let go of and that no longer serves you. And what I love about it, the beauty of it, is that you don't have to relive trauma. I definitely, before finding energy work, was in therapy, and it just seemed to compound all my childhood trauma. Like it just kind of exasperated it, just really made it worse, and nothing was shifting. Um, Energy healing is painless. It doesn't cause any pain. You don't have to force yourself to be positive, like a false spirituality or positivity. And you don't have to believe that it's going to work for it to work. You don't even have to know exactly what is stuck. Sometimes it's nice to know, but you don't have to break it down into all those little components to have that energy flow through you. So energy healing also works with intention. Intention is really key. So as humans, we have the imagination, we have the capacity to think of scenarios and things that we want and imagine them into being. So what we tend to do is this gets used in a negative way, right? We have all these negative thoughts about us, our mind runs away with itself. We think about doing something and all the fear comes in. So it's nice if we can like reprogram ourselves to have positive intentions, positive thoughts, even if it's like you're faking it until you make it kind of thing. Even if there's no way you believe that, if you start saying positive affirmations, you can look in the mirror, look yourself in the eye in the mirror and start saying those affirmations. Your body doesn't know the difference between something you already have and something you don't have. Like you are reprogramming your cells, you're reprogramming your DNA when you do this. And also energy healing is about trust. It's trusting the wisdom of your body. It's trusting that your body knows how to naturally heal itself, and we just have to create the conditions for that to happen. And a lot of times that's removing our ego. Our ego is our personality, basically, that wants to stay safe. It really, I don't want to say it doesn't have our best interests at heart, but it wants to stay safe. It wants us to avoid the pain that we have experienced in the past. And a lot of times that doesn't serve us now, 10, 20, 30 years in the past. So it's about also working with the ego, trusting yourself, trusting your body implicitly, no matter what, and trusting that you know how to heal yourself, I would say. So why and how do emotions get stuck in the first place? I really think if you think about, obviously, if you're here, we are probably an exception, but the way most people live their lives, if you're not like hysterically crying or freaking out somehow or in a hospital bed, you kind of think that you're happy, you're emotionally happy and you're okay, and that your life is all together, and maybe you have a bad day, but generally speaking, you're okay. But the truth is, your nervous system and your subconscious mind are always recording what's happening to you. There's like a little note taker there that's taking notes for every single thing that's ever happened, every emotion, every thought that you've ever had, every event. So all the stress, all the fear, all the heartbreak, the things you couldn't say, maybe as a child, or you didn't know how to process. This all leaves an imprint in your body, in your energy field. So if something did happen to you when you were a child, and you didn't feel safe to cry, maybe like held it all in, that was definitely my experience as a child. You know, I wasn't allowed to cry when I was upset, which compounded what was going on originally, right? I couldn't speak because I was just in that state of stress and the freeze response. Or maybe you're told that you need to be strong, or you need to be quiet, or you just need to get over it, right? Or if you remember, maybe you had that experience of your parents telling you, like downplaying what was going on with you. Or maybe you were a child that didn't like to be comforted, couldn't be comforted when you were in pain, or you didn't tell your parents when you hurt yourself, you just brushed it off, or just kind of suffered and struggled alone. So all these experiences, they might even still be stuck in your body decades later and stored in your body as what we call trapped emotions or emotional energies. And again, some of the consequences of this might come out as you might overreact to something small. So in your life now as a grown-up, right? You might overreact when your child asks you for something, or when your partner asks you for something. You might like go off at them unnecessarily, like what the way you react to them doesn't equate to what they were asking for. So maybe your child is asking for a candy bar or something, and you like lose it, and you don't understand why. So that's like one of the consequences of having these trapped emotional energies. Another consequence is you might shut down during a conflict. Like if you are having maybe a discussion with your partner or something, you can't sustain that connection. I mean, there are definitely times when you do want to walk away. But if you're just having a healthy discussion, um, it might be too overwhelming, and you might put yourself in a state of fight or flight like immediately, and then you might have to walk away from that. So that is just a sign that something else is going on. It's not about the conflict in that moment. There is a deeper something, and a deeper a wound that is probably stuck or trapped in your body. So another consequence is you could feel heavy in your chest. You could feel sick to your stomach without knowing why. You could have a sense of anxiety, like pretty much all the time. I know I definitely did. And it was so annoying. Like my solar plexus always seemed to be in knots. And even in the beginning of my energy healing journey, I had to really go down the rabbit hole and find out what that was and why that was, and just keep going back into my childhood and other experiences in my teens and my 20s to work through that. And again, it's not you being dramatic. It's a younger version of you that is still holding on to these emotions from the past. And energy healing can help gently release all of these trapped energies. And because if they don't, they become chronic tension or pain, like we said. You might feel anxious or reactive for no reason. Another thing that we haven't mentioned is you might have low energy all the time, or you might always be tired, or you might get burnt out really quickly. And there might be patterns in your life that keep repeating, no matter how much inner work you do. And a relationship is a really good example of this. You might always fall for the same type of guy or gal, right? So you get out of that relationship and you meet someone else and you're thinking in the beginning, oh, they look great, but that stuff, that emotional baggage is still keeps popping in there in this relationship. And like, oh my God, why am I so bad at picking these partners? Why does this always happen to me? And then you get in the victim mode, which is a whole nother conversation. But the reason you keep falling for this is because vibrationally, you are not healed to choose and to pick a partner that is also healed. So you're picking a match, an energetic match with how you are inside of you. So a problem that, let me just have some water here, sorry. So society, excuse me, society doesn't really help us in this because we have been taught to override our emotions, to push through, to be strong, to push through, or to numb things out, which is not good for us. Like that's the complete opposite to what energy healing, the hope and the dream of energy healing is. We want to be able to go into our bodies, to feel what's going on, to use our intuition, especially as women, to sense what body part is off and what emotion is causing issues and is stuck in our body that we didn't get to process through. So energy healing works to do something completely different, like I just said. So we are, it's like a knot. Just imagine you have a knot in your body, and when you find that trapped energy, you are gently and with love and with compassion, you're gently undoing that knot. Okay, so when we do our little exercise, that's a really good, in a few minutes here, that's a good image. We can use our imagination to have that image when we're releasing these trapped energies. So these energies, they can lodge inside basically anywhere in your body that may be weak to begin with. So that could be your stomach. For me, it was definitely my solar plexus. It could be your chest. It could be your throat. I had lots, as I had thyroid cancer, I had lots in my throat. It could be anywhere. It could be your back, your legs, or even a specific organ or gland, like your liver, your lungs, or for me, like my thyroid. So in ancient healing systems, if you go back as far as Plato, the ancient philosopher Plato, his writings, to Chinese medicine, to Ayurvedic medicine, the body wasn't seen as just a machine. It was seen as an intelligent living energy system where emotions, thoughts, and our spirit all interacted with the physical body. So each organ or gland was believed to process different emotions And when these emotions couldn't move through the body, they became stored in the body as like as an energetic residue, like a frequency. So if you're familiar with Dr. Hawkins' work, we have the map of consciousness. We know that the frequency of shame, I think, is 20 hertz, and the frequency of love is 500. So you can actually measure this. So shame is the lowest vibration of emotion. So you're going to feel pretty crappy if you have lots of stored trapped shame in your body. So, and also, for example, the liver is often linked to anger and resentment. The lungs, they hold grief and sorrow. The kidneys process through all our fear. The stomach and spleen can store worry and anxiety, and the heart holds love on a positive note, and also heartbreak and heartache. And the heart can also become guarded. We could have heart walls, blocks around our heart, and especially after betrayal and loss, we really feel that heaviness in our heart. And the thyroid, this was my experience, often carries suppression of your voice. So, and if you swallowed your truth, like as a child, I wasn't allowed to express myself. I wasn't allowed to talk, like I got screamed at. And when you get screamed at as a kid, you just go into that freeze state, right? And all that emotional, that feeling, it just gets swallowed down and gets stuck right here in your thyroid. So when when energy healers work in your energy field, we can often trace a trapped emotion back to the very organ that generated it. And when the energy is cleared, people often feel a physical shift in that organ or gland, or in different parts of their body. Sometimes it's not even your emotion, maybe. Sometimes it could be absorbed from another person, which is interesting. So if you're familiar with what a tuning fork is, and basically a tuning fork is a device that when you hit it, it looks like a fork, and then you have a little, I don't know what that's called, like a beta or something. You hit it and it lets off a hertz frequency. So if you are, as we talked about in the beginning, if you're hanging out with someone who's chronically depressed, they're giving off that vibrational frequency of depression, and you are going to pick that up. So if you've heard of, you absorb an energy, it's not really absorbing. It's this example of the tuning fork is way more accurate. But absorbing, I guess, is a good word. But now you have a visual for that. It's like that tuning fork effect. So also the same is, what it's like when you're around someone who's like so happy and so joyous. Maybe they just completed something, or they graduated, or they won the lottery. It's like infectious when you're hanging out with those people. Again, that's the tuning fork example. They're giving off that vibrational frequency. And I read somewhere that the 5 people that you hang out with the most, you will become like. So the 5 people that you're around the most, that you're hanging out with the most, the 5 of them, including you, your energy will like all kind of meld together, and you'll have the similar thoughts. You'll do the same things. You'll act in the same ways. So maybe that's something you want to do, is look at those, who are the 5 most prominent people in your life, and are they good for you? Are they giving you the right messages? And are you giving them the right messages, the right positive frequencies and emotions in your relationship with them? So energy work, we're going to have an experience of this. I'm going to guide you through something to release some stuck energy, but it might feel like a deep release in your body. It could feel like a sensation lifting off your chest, or some grip that has loosened. It could be a sudden clarity, or a realization that you have, or you might suddenly say, oh, I know what I've got to do next when you've been completely blocked. Or you could feel a release of tension, or even unexpected tears. And these tears, well, they might be from sadness, but probably not. But it's crying like this, it's like it's a release. It's a physical release. So we have the energetic release, and then the tears come, and that's a physical release. So why clearing emotional energy helps physically? I've seen so many times that when people release trapped emotions, they feel better. And not just emotionally, but physically too. They sleep better, they have less tension stored in their body, they feel less reactive, they might stop getting stomach aches or headaches because the body doesn't lie. Pain is an indicator that something is off. And what we tend to do in society is when we get pain, we want to numb it out. We want to go have a drink. We want to maybe do some recreational drugs. We want to go shopping. We want to get on a screen. We want to do all those addictive things and patterns to avoid the pain, maybe take pain pills. But that in the long run is just putting a Band-Aid over it. What we can easily do is release those emotions that are causing that physical pain for you. And the body is not going to start producing that pain until you start listening. And that's why listening is so key in this process. So when you clear the stuck energy from the energy body, you can stop carrying all of this emotional pain and fear and anxiety, whatever that is for you, and finally rest and heal really on a physical level. So I just wanted to give a couple of other ways that you can keep your energy flowing and release energy. And one of those is spending time in nature, just walking barefoot on the earth, hanging out with trees. Trees release negative ions. So even just the act of putting your hand on a tree for, a minute, a couple of minutes is filling your body up with negative ions. So we're picking up so many positive ions from the screen, from electronics, from Wi-Fi towers, from cell towers. So hanging out with trees is such a beautiful way to counteract that. Also running water, so being by the ocean, a waterfall, or just a stream, or just sitting by a body of water can also do that. Being in the sunshine is great too, and without sunglasses, because it helps with sunlight coming through your eyes. It helps to recalibrate your nervous system naturally, and it clears static energy. Because we are daily, the sun is the giver of our energy force, the energy on our planet. It sustains all life. So we want that sunshine on our skin. We want that rays of the sun to come through our eyes. And also, you need less sunscreen when you don't have sunglasses on, because if you're in the sun without sunglasses, it triggers your body to naturally protect you. I'm not saying you're not going to get sunburnt, but if you're in like Florida sun where it's 90 degrees for 8 hours, of course you'll get sunburnt, but it naturally triggers that protective mechanism, and the body senses, oh, I'm in the sun. I'm just gonna put this protective shield around you. So other ways, you could take salt baths, which is really good, which cleanses your auric field. We have a field of energy that's around us. You could take salt baths. You could use Epsom salts for a deeper energetic detox. And also creative expression is really a great way to move energy. So like journaling, painting, singing, any form of creativity. Laughing, watching a funny movie is often a great form of stress reduction. All these open your energy bodies and help move stuck energy. So the journaling, you could do automatic writing where you pick up a pen and a paper. It's best to do this longhand. And then you just start writing. Could be anything. And the idea is just to keep writing whatever comes until there is like an undercurrent of conscious thought coming. So it's not just the ego. So we're trying to bypass the ego. So in the beginning, you might be writing, this is so boring. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm sick of writing. This isn't working. This is a load of rubbish, whatever it is. You keep writing that. Maybe you just write that for 1 minute, but then once your ego knows you're not going to quit, like that defense drops, and then you get to like the intuitive layer, and it might tell you why you're holding this stuck pain. It's always nice to have an intention. The intention for that journaling could be to find out why I'm holding that deep pain in my body. What's that about? So eventually, through this type of journaling, you can get to that. And yeah, so the first, we could say, like, you have to know why things are happening, right? So we're inviting and we're listening, and then we will have an answer, and then we can implement whatever that answer is for us. So let's do a little something. Let's have a little energy experience that I can guide you through. So let's go ahead and place, you can place your hand over your heart and close your eyes. And just take a couple of deep cleansing breaths here. So we're breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And you can repeat to yourself, I am open to receive the wisdom of my body. And then you can ask, what part of your body is holding a trapped emotion? So whatever comes to you right now, that's your body part. So what part of your body is holding any trapped energy, trapped emotion, trapped tightness? And try not to second guess yourself. If you hear something, whatever you heard, that was it. And then ask if there's a specific emotion that is caught up in that part of the body. And again, whatever you immediately hear is the right answer. So it's the first emotion that comes into your mind will be the one. And now we're going to start to unravel this. And we're going to say, I give my body permission to release whatever the emotion is for you that is stuck in whatever body part that is for you. So for me, it was my right toe, right big toe, and it was fear. So I give my body permission to release the fear that is stuck in my right big toe. And then just take a couple of breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And then just thanking your body right now for this collaboration and this trapped emotional energy that you have just released. I'm just giving reverence for you for the bigness that you are at this moment. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. So I think for if you're, and this is what I'm talking about, going kind of back to the beginning, if you're um, experienced, which a lot of us are, it could be that simple. We don't have to make it complicated. So just tuning into the intuitive wisdom that is there and bypassing the ego. So when we do this, when you do this by yourself, if you're going to try this again, just the first answer that comes is the answer. Don't self-doubt. Don't have any doubt about that. Just trust. And this builds. So the more that you trust, the more the answers come quicker, they come faster, the more of them will come. Maybe you hear two at a time. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And that's all we're going to do for our first session. We're going to leave it there. And in our next session, we are going to talk about muscle testing, sway testing, and I'm going to be doing some demonstrations of how we can start to do that if you are not already doing that, and troubleshooting if you are already doing that. Okay, so thank you guys all so much. It's so beautiful to have you all here with me, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.